some pieces for the spring solstice collection, and these are one-of-a-kind gifts made with real natural elements and stones, and it just felt like it's a gloomy, wet day outside, and I felt like doing some art. So let me adjust this light here so that you guys can really get a good look at what we're doing today. I think that looks a little better. I have my phone on a swinging arm, so it's a little awkward for me to figure out my light sometimes, but I think that should be a good start there. So I've started building a couple of these already, and what happens is when we put our little dome on top like this is one of the, what I'm calling the deluxe ones, because once it gets finished, let's turn that one off. You'll see that they'll light up from the inside, and that's real found sticks, moss. So we're going to work on some of these. We're going to build some. So I'm going to be quiet because I'm just going to focus on building, and hopefully you guys will enjoy what you see here. Let me bring this down a little so I can just focus on my hands. All right, I think that's going to give you a really good peek at everything that's going on. So let's get started. I have all of my stuff laid out in little containers. It just makes it easy for me to work with smaller pieces like this by getting everything prepped and ready in advance. And what I do is put a little bit of clay into the base here, and then I can kind of push the pieces in like putty, and then that'll dry. Got what is called fairy magic music playing because I like setting a ambiance when I'm working. I like to feel whatever the mood is that I'm working in. I kind of like to have music that flows with it. So this is moss that I picked up from the forest a few days ago. It's still wet. It's going to be really pretty when it's all done, all dried, I should say. But you can see we just put a little bit of clay over that, and that covers the little bobs and bits. It's a little handmade miniature book. I think that actually looks really pretty there. Let's get it to stick. That is the joy of double-sided tape. So I am making these available as Mother's Day gifts, and I'll put the information, I'll put a reel together with the pricing and everything. But I bought these globes at Christmas time and forgot that I bought them. So my memory loss becomes... Oh, I hate this tape. The benefit of others, I should say, because I really would like these to be used. Let's turn the light out. pro tip, don't go cheap on your tape, guys. I bought these on clearance, and clearly I'm having major issues getting them off of the part that peels here. It should never be this difficult to get your tape off. Okay, got enough just to get this going here. Oh, I love this music.
Every worry I was holding slips like dust from open hands. Through the hush of early light, I feel the weight inside me fade. This is where the quiet remains at daybreak, and I am not afraid.
Never quite know what I'm going to do with these. I just kind of look through my little, what I call my Bobs and Bits box here, and if something catches my eye, I grab it and place it, and then just kind of go from there. But it's the fun of making these, I think, because there's no real rhyme or reason to them. They're just, I kind of let them guide me on what they decide they want to be, and I try to grant that request. What do you guys think of this one so far? I think it's turning out pretty cool. Wasn't sure what I was going to do with these at the onset, but see if I can bring it up to the camera so you can see more detail on it. So that one's looking pretty cool, I think. I figure out where my camera angle is. There we go. There we go. Now you can see that better. So it's got baby's breath and some little berries that I picked up. And it's got a little tiny handmade book. It's so gloomy out. I'm not getting any real sunshine in here today. So I'm going to move this light a little closer and I think bring this up a bit. I know I'm always fiddling with this, guys, but I'm not used to recording myself, so this is a learning process for me. All right, I think I can see that a little bit better, so hopefully you guys can too. All right, so while we let this one kind of settle into the clay and the little bits of glue to dry, I'm gonna work on a second one. Let's actually dip this in a little bit of glue. I want it to really stick on there for us. Better. What I don't want is for things to jostle around, either in shipping or just in movement in general. So, okay, so now and just so you know, these are going to be covered with moss or paint. I'm not sure yet, but we're not going to have that ugly big so there is one of the pieces in the Spring Solstice collection. It's going to be coated now with a very light wash of glow-in-the-dark paint, and I will show that process to you. Let me grab my little brush here. It's of look a little funny for a while, but when it dries, it'll be opaque.
Where every sound grows thin and kind, the world releases what it has, and
And then just a little while, once everything gets dry, I will put
no title
twine around it and tie it all up and really make it look very nice.
since somewhere I've been. The ground feels
This top is on here rather loosely right now.
as if it's always known my skin. I stop explaining who I was and let the moment join me. Where the silence knows
I'm just going to charge the paint a little bit.
to speak it loud, every worry loses shape and gently leads me now through the hush of open land. I lay my burdens down the same where the silence knows my name. The hills stand still without a sound, yet hold the weight of countless years. They teach me how to simply stay and trust the ground beneath my fears. What once felt heavy drifts away like breath dissolving into air. The quiet asks for nothing more, somehow leaves me whole and bare. I stop explaining who I was and let the moment draw me near. Where the silence knows my name, I don't need to speak it loud. Every word loses shape and gently leads me now through the hush of open land. I lay my burdens down the same where the silence knows my name.
Okay, let's do this one.
Starts to grow. Not every answer needs a sound. Some truths are felt when we let go. Where the silence knows my name, I don't need to speak it loud. Every word loses shape and gently leads me now through the hush of open land. I lay my burdens down the sea where the silence knows my name. I remain. I wake before the world begins, where light is thin and soft with gray. The hills are holding their first breath as night releases into day. No plans are written in the air, no echoes chase my restless mind. The silence feels like
He's starting to dry, so I gotta get that out of there.
a place I didn't know to find. I stop asking what comes next and listen deeper where I stand. Where the morning stays quiet, I feel my heart beat slow and true. Every worry starts to loosen in the calm that pulls me through. Through the hush of waking light, I leave the weight I used to bear. Where the morning stays quiet, I am the dew still rests upon the ground, like silver holding every step. It teaches me to walk with care and trust the paths I haven't met. What once felt urgent fades away like stars retreating from the sky. The quiet keeps me steady now. No need to ask the reason why. I stop asking what comes next and listen deeper where I stand. Where the morning stays quiet, I feel my heart beat slow and true. Every worry starts to loosen in the calm that pulls me through. Through the hush of waking light, I leave the weight I used to bear. Where the morning stays quiet, I am there.
When the bottles are this tiny, it takes a lot of trial and error to kind of figure out what is going to fit the best and work the best inside it.
Not every truth must rush to form. Some truths arrive when still.
Right now I've got some rock and sand.
The morning stays quiet, I feel my heart beat slow and true. Every worry starts to loosen in the calm that pulls
And I
me
pre-cut a bunch of little things, little elements, so I'm going to play with some and see what works best in this, because tiny bottles are a little more, require a little more finesse in terms of creating them. Okay, that's looking better. You really want some of that moss in there, but I'm going to have to cut it so that it's not so overwhelming inside the bottle. It just brightens the whole bottle right up. Let's get that in there first.
I walk where out meets the ground, where colors fade to gentle gold.
Oh, that's looking better, yeah.
Without a sound reminds me nothing needs to hold. The forest breathes in quiet time. No hurry, step, no need to stage a moment. borrowed light that teaches me to drift away. I loosen every guarded thought and let the silence lead me on.
This is
Beyond the
cut twine that has been dyed to make flocking, which works really, really well inside tiny little bottles. You can see how it looks like grass, but it's actually cut up rope, or shaved rope, I guess. But adding a layer of color in these bottles really makes everything stand out more. These lovely, lovely, lovely red branches, and I think I'm going to put one of those in there instead of that yellow. I'm not sure. We're going to see.
The path grows thin, the light grows wide, no sign remains of where I've been. What once was fear now walks beside a calmer truth beneath the skin. The earth accepts without a sound what I release, what I forgive. I feel my roots reach deeper down into the quiet way to live. I listen every guarded thought and let the silence lead me on. Beyond the last fallen leaf, I feel the weight inside me cease. Every sorrow learns to sleep in shades of soft and patient.
You guys can see that.
Through the hush of amber air,
I love putting gardens inside teeny tiny little bottles. I just think that is the coolest thing. So I'm going to let that settle for a minute so I can kind of come back to it and look at it again and see where I'm at in terms of my like/dislike of it. So we'll go ahead and start another one of the jars. I had an idea. I really want to do a sea-themed one, so you guys are going to kind of bear with me here. I'm going to actually use some glow-in-the-dark paints and paint kind of a sea color in here, and then build some elements to see if we can make kind of an ocean in a jar. It's been running through my head, so we're going to try. I have no idea what this is going to turn out like, but I thought it would be fun to do it with you guys, and I'll see the results the same as you. So I'm starting with a really, it's just watercolor mixed with some glow-in-the-dark paints, and so this is kind of a lighter green. I'm going to go into a blue here. Let's see here. I think I've got a dark blue set up already. I do. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry for a bit, but I'll charge the paint and we'll get a better idea of what it'll look like, how much glow it has. I don't know, because I've mixed it with watercolor. Make it a sponge and clean that up a little bit. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be kind of a pretty blue. I don't know if you guys can see the brightness of it on the camera or not, but I think that's actually going to look really neat. I'm going to clean it up a little bit so I don't have too many streaks. But yeah, we're going to see what this end result is like in just a bit. For right now, I'm just going to charge it for a minute.
Like smoke from ancient fire.
Trying to see if I have a sponge handy because I want to clean out the inside of this, but let's see if this will work.
Beneath the old stone sky, I stand with open hands and open eyes. The earth still knows the shape of hope. The stars still.
God, I love this music. I just find it so puts my head inside a beautiful forest somewhere, and I just think about these creatures that I see in my head, this enchanted forest of mine, and I just think of this beautiful fairy with gossamer wings and a dress made out of leaves and berries, and she's sitting in the middle of this forest on a leaf, and she has this magical lute, and that's her right now singing, and gathered round her are butterflies and fays and pixies and gnomes and all things magical and unique, and they just sit in silence and listen to this voice, because for them she's like this bird that found skin and took on a different form, but her voice stayed the same. At least that's the story I see in my head when I hear it. This music definitely brings out the writer in me. So let's let that dry for a bit. And we are going to go ahead and make the base and see what we come up with here. Put a layer of glue down on the inside here, because that's where I start putting like the moss or sand or whatever it is that I'm using. Because this is going to be sea themed, I think I'm going to do a little bit of both, but we're going to primarily use rock and sand for this one. So I have my handy little container of sand here. Let's sprinkle that in there. So if anybody out there like me that they see stories in their head when they hear music, I'm a little bit on the strange side, so it may just be me. I've been like that since I was a kid, though. I've always watched the movie in my brain of whatever book I was reading or whatever I was listening to in the moment. I'm going to take clay, and great batch this time. This is handmade clay. This is a combination of, this time around, flour and water, a little bit of cornstarch, and hand lotion. And it's nice and smooth, and it's sticking very well, so I'm really happy with this batch. Let's see here. Now I'm going over to my box of stuff again, because I pulled a whole bunch of little bits and bobs that I thought would look really neat as ocean type of elements. So I'm going to go ahead and put some into these things. All these little bits that I'm going to put into this one, they just felt like they would be in a seabed or something. And I think this one is going to feature our turtle. I've been wanting to put a turtle in one of these, so I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to feature a turtle swimming in the ocean. See, that just kind of reminded me of, oh God, because my memory and words. Let me see if I can remember it. Seaweed, kind of like a seaweed bed.
I arrive with a long day, and the light grows thin but never cold. The land exhales its final breath in tones of amber, soft and old. No echo follows what I've done. No future asks me where to stand. A moment rests upon my chest, like quiet held within my hand. I stop carrying every thought.
I picked these up on a road trip with my new neighbor and friend when she took me to see the Mississippi River for the first time. Every ocean sea needs a pearl.
Through the hush of closing eyes, what I once held tight. This is where the quiet finally settles, and I am The sky leans low without a word. It does not rush the coming night. It trusts the dark to keep its shape and hold tomorrow out of sight. What once felt heavy slips away, like breath dissolving into the quiet doesn't need to stay. It simply shows me there. I stop carrying every thought, let the stillness take its place. This is where the quiet finally settles, like dusk upon the open ground. Every word listens gently and fades without a sound. Through the hush of closing eyes, what I once held tight. This is where the quiet finally settles, and I am right. Between the leaving and the rest, a deeper calm begins to grow. Not every ending needs a name. Some endings heal by letting go. This is where the quiet finally settles. daylight leads to gold, shadows stretching across the field. The air is calm, the moment white, with nothing left I need to shield. The sky grows quiet overhead, as if it listens more than speaks. Each breath becomes a softer truth at the edge of silent waves. I let the world fall out of reach and feel the stillness draw me. At the edge of quiet light, I lay my restless thoughts to rest. Every wrong begins to fade, every doubt slips from my chest. Through the hush of open air, I release the weight I carry through. At the edge of quiet light, I return to what is true.
So a lot of times I have to start and stop because as I'm working on these, I'll see the way something should look. So if you see me taking things apart and then putting them back together again, that's what it is. I think the turtle is going to look super cool, but that means I have to elevate everything so that nothing gets lost. So we'll put him here, and now I'll put the other little ocean elements back in, and then we'll paint this clay blue again, and that should give it the appearance of floating in water. Just add a little more clay back here. This turtle's actually quite heavy, so we're going to have to fortify this.
At the edge of quiet light, I lay my restless thoughts to rest. Every wrong begins to fade, every doubt slips from my chest. Through the hush.
Now on this one, probably going to have to wait a couple hours before I can finalize it. I think my best bet is going to be let the clay harden a bit before I keep adding stuff, because otherwise it's just going to keep collapsing on me. But I'll kind of give you guys just a little idea. So it's very bright in here. You're not going to be able to really see the coolness of this in the daylight, but what'll happen is at night, I'm going to throw a light source inside this, and when you turn it on, it's going to glow from the inside out, and you're going to be able to see whatever scene is in there, and it'll look like the turtle is swimming in a water globe. So we're going to let this one dry. I think I might just do one more with you guys, and then I'm going to go ahead and go have a late lunch. My tummy is starting to sing a tune. So now that I know that this one is definitely going to be the turtle, what we're going to do here is make sure that's nice and flat. I'm not going to paint it actually until after this is hardened, because since this is handmade clay, it's a little more fragile than the store-bought stuff, and I really want to let this dry a bit before I mess with it anymore. So let's go ahead and just get the platform in there. I think this would be easy. It's not. It takes a little bit to kind of manipulate it. But now that I know for sure what we're going to do with this one, what I'll go ahead and do is I'm going to put the sand and some rock back in here at the bottom.
No signal pulls me out to roll.
And as this dries, that should also help keep my clay. Just gonna give ourselves a pebble or two in here.
I stop listening for a storm and hear the calm beneath it all. This is where the quiet touches the shore, not asking more, not closing in. Every weight I carried far drifts gently out with it.
Alright, now I'm gonna do my little test here, make sure I didn't put anything where this won't close again. That looks good.
This is where the quiet touches the shore and makes me whole.
Let's go ahead and give this more of a real ocean. This is clay, I can sculpt it a little bit. I started thinking of Finding Nemo and them riding that current, so we're gonna make this a little more 3D in there, I think.
I stop listening for the storm and hear the calm beneath it all. This is where the quiet touches the shore, not asking more, not closing in. Every weight I carry far drifts gently out with every wind. Through the hush of salted air, I loosen what I couldn't hold. This is where the quiet touches the shore and makes me whole. Between the wave and waiting land, a deeper peace begins to grow. Not every truth must travel far. Some truths are found by staying slow. This is where the quiet touches the shore, not asking more, not closing in. Every weight I carry far drifts gently out with every wind. Through the hush of salted air, I loosen what I couldn't hold. This is where the quiet touches the shore and makes me whole.
And let all these sticks dry in here first, and then we can go back in and put the other elements, but it's better to let the, while the clay is wet, to add the things that you want it to act like a putty around. Alright.
I lift my eyes from restless ground where all my questions used to stay. The sky is white without a sound, as if it's listening today. No answer falls, no sign appears, yet something in me feels understood. The weight I carried through the years begins to loosen where I stood. I stopped demanding certainty and let the moment speak in calm. When the sky finally listens, I don't need to explain. Every word I never said is released into the plain. Through the hush of endless blue, I let go of all control. When the sky finally listens, it restores my soul. Clouds move on without regret. They never cling to what is past. They show me how to loosen grip and trust the shape of things at last. What once felt heavy in my chest now drifts like breath into me. The quiet does the work of grace by simply staying, simply there. I stopped demanding certainty and let the moment speak in calm. When the sky finally listens, I don't need to explain. Every word I never said is released into the plain. Through the hush of endless blue, I let go of all control. When the sky finally listens, it restores my soul. Between the asking and the knowing, there is peace that doesn't. Not every prayer requires an answer. Some are healed by being true. When the sky finally listens, I don't need to explain. Every word I never said is released into the plain. Through the hush of endless blue, I let go of all control. When the sky
We're gonna let it dry, and then I have a smaller turtle that I'm gonna stick in the center there. But yeah, I'll paint the water onto the clay and finalize the top of the globe and get lights in there, and this will be a really unique, one-of-a-kind glow-in-the-dark jar. So let's see. We got this last one that we're going to do, and then I'm going to sign off for a while. And I started this one already, so I'm just going to kind of look at my elements here and see what I want to do with it. I think a butterfly. I think this one is telling me I need to do a butterfly. So that's where we're going to go. So I'm throwing some glue down just to make everything sticky. Yeah, I think that looks really cool. These are little pine needles that I cut and then have secured together with tape to make little graph tufts. My hands are filthy now. I'm going to have to clean them.
Where footprints fade into grass. The road behind grows soft and small. The future drifts like silent ash. No signs are meant to tell me where the turning point was meant to be. I only hear the steady breath of earth remembering my feet. I stop asking what lies ahead and listen deeper where I stand. I follow the path the wind remembers, not the one my fear designed. Every step grows lighter now as I leave a weight behind through the quiet, through the open. I feel the truth I couldn't find. I follow the path the wind remembers, and it leads me home in time.
This song makes me think of butterflies. It feels like something you'd hear in a meadow. I've noticed that definitely influences what I create based on what I'm listening to.
It shows me how to let things pass and trust.
Okay, I have to poke some holes. It's trying to do it the lazy way that did not work.
What once demanded all my strength now loosens with a gentle sound, like knots undone by patient hands. I feel my center touch the ground. I stop asking what lies ahead and listen deeper where I stand. I follow the path the wind remembers, not the one my fear designed. Every step grows lighter now as I leave a weight behind through the quiet, through the open. I feel the truth I couldn't find. I follow the path the wind remembers, and it leads me home in time. Between the knowing and the doubt, there is a place that does not speak. It waits beneath a moving mind where
Shoot.
all that's lost returns as peace. I follow the path the wind remembers, not the one my fear designed. Every step grows lighter now as I leave a weight behind through the quiet, through the open. I feel the truth I couldn't find. I follow the path the wind remembers, and it leads me home in time.
Okay, I'm going to put the butterfly back on once these dry in there. I want it to be towards the top of the globe. Let's see here. I want some kind of wispy. Yeah, that looks pretty.
I stand where land begins to fade, and water waits without a sound. The sky is pale, the moment white, no edge remains to hold me down. The tide moves slow, then pulls away, like breathing learned from ancient storm. It teaches me to trust the pulse and not demand what's never known. I leave my questions in the sand and let the quiet take their place. In the stillness before the sea, I feel my heartbeat fall in line. Every wave that followed me dissolves into the open tide. Through the hush of salted air, I loosen all I used to be. In the stillness before the sea, I am free. I am
I love the lyrics on this. In the stillness, I am free.
The horizon holds no promise made, yet offers more than words can give. It shows me how to let things go and teaches me a softer way to live. What once felt heavy drifts away like footprints fading from the shore. The quiet asks for nothing now and somehow gives me even more. I leave my questions in the sand and let the quiet take their place. In the stillness before the sea, I feel my heartbeat fall in line. Every weight that followed me dissolves into the open tide. Through the hush of salted air, I loosen all I used to be. In the stillness before the sea, I am free. Between the wave and waiting shore, a deeper calm begins to rise. Not every truth must have a form. Some truth arrive like open skies. In the stillness before the sea, I feel my heartbeat fall in line. Every wave that followed me dissolves into the open tide. Through the hush of salted air, I loosen all I used to be. In the stillness before the sea, I am free. I am free. This is where the quiet remains at daybreak, and I am unafraid. The hills breathe out the cooling night. They never rush the coming sun. They teach me how to trust the pause where every ending is become. What once felt heavy leaves my heart like mist dissolving from the ground. The quiet does not need
I'm gonna have to be patient. I get impatient and try to work with stuff before it's dry, and always learn my lesson the hard way. It's okay.
This is where the quiet remains at daybreak, gentle as the waking land. Every worry I was holding slips like dust from open hands. Through the hush of early light, I feel the weight inside me fade. This is where the quiet remains at daybreak, and I am not afraid. Between the night
There we go.
and
Cleaner.
open sky,
It's looking a little too cluttered.
begins to rise. Not every truth must chase the sun. Some truths arrive with quiet eyes. This is where the quiet remains at daybreak, gentle as the waking land. Every worry I was holding slips like dust from open hands. Through the hush of early light, I feel the weight inside me fade. This is where the quiet remains at daybreak, and I am
There we go. Let's try to give it some depth so the butterfly will stand out. I think that's accomplishing it now. Don't want it to be so dark though, so we're gonna, because it should be colorful and bright. There we go. All right, that is the last one I'm going to do on camera today. I have to sit a really weird angle to get the phone to just show my hands, so my back is starting to scream. But I hope you guys, if you joined in, that you enjoyed watching this. This again is the Spring Solstice collection, and the ones without lights or glow-in-the-dark elements are $18 plus shipping, and the ones with the glow-in-the-dark elements or lights are $25 plus shipping. And they'd be really cool gifts for Mother's Day or for really any time. But if you get a hold of me in the next few weeks before Mother's Day and you want a custom one made, I can do that for you as well. That's a little bit more. Those are $45, but it would be specific to the elements and flowers and really just things that you tell me about your parent to make it super extra special and all about them. So I will talk to you guys soon. I'm going to go try and practice some patience and let this stuff dry before I put other things on them. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. I don't know what it's making me do. End.